Okay. Very good. Good morning. Morning. Everybody seems, you kind of walk in here kind of quiet, and then all of a sudden it kind of gets a little lively. I think everybody kind of wakes up and all. It's a great day. As Speaker Burns says, it's a great day to be a Georgian. I like that. I like that. It's a great day to be a Georgian. So thank y'all for being here today. This is the Senate Appropriations, Education, Higher Education Subcommittee hearing today, and so hopefully we'll be out of here in about an hour and a half at the most. We're going to, with this being an amended budget, there should be just a few changes we'll talk about, and we obviously got some questions. So we'll open it up with a prayer, and Senator Burns, Chairman Burns, you mind doing? Oh, what number are you?
10.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. Let's join together in prayer. Father God, we're grateful for opportunities of service. We're grateful for challenges, because challenges gives us the opportunity to do good things for Georgia. Thank you for our educational partners. Thank you for those who educate our students both from kindergarten through PhD programs and universities. We have a wonderful education system in Georgia, and we pray that your blessings on it. We pray your wisdom to us this morning as we look at the amended FY26 budget. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Decal, Amy, how you doing this morning? I'm telling Lindsay, normally you sit over there when you come in for something, and you're back there, so I had to find you.
I just want to keep you on your toes.
Good morning. The floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of
Oh, hold on. Let me crank you up. There you go.
Okay. Am I on now?
I
No.
think. Is it?
I'm not sure. Yep, there I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, the only change that Decal has in the amended budget are the statewide bonuses that Governor Kemp's recommended for state employees and teachers. So I want to recognize that and say thank you for that. I know that the Decal team is looking forward to that and very appreciative of it. So I did prepare a few slides to provide an update on how parents with young children, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, access early learning in Georgia. And when I say early learning, I'm referring to child care and Georgia Pre-K and our summer transition program that we administer at DeKalb. So just a little bit about what the child care capacity in Georgia looks like in Georgia. In Georgia. Over the last 5 years, we have seen a slight growth in licensed capacity, meaning that young children have access to child care in Georgia. We've actually seen an increase in child care learning centers. We do see a decrease in family child care learning homes, but overall, licensed capacity has increased by about 6% in Georgia, with a total capacity for young children of 387,000 in our state. This chart shows you the distribution by age of children in child care and early learning. And what's interesting on this chart is this has not changed over the last 10 years. We do an economic impact study conducted by UGA in Georgia State every few years and look at this type of data. So this shows you that about 14% of the infant population in Georgia is in licensed child care. You'll see that steadily increases by age. And then when you look at 4-year-olds, 85% of 4-year-olds are in either licensed child care or Georgia Pre-K. So they are receiving some type of early learning in Georgia, 85% of 4-year-olds. And I think that's a number that we don't talk about enough, but it's interesting to see that distribution across ages. CAPS is one of our largest and most impactful programs. It is our child care subsidy program, which provides scholarships to help low-income families who are working or in school pay for child care. We fund this through federal dollars, which is through the Child Care and Development Fund, and some state general dollars. This program serves 51,000 children, and the annual scholarship is about $7,500. So about $7,500 to help pay for the cost of child care for young children in Georgia. Per child, yes, sir. Funded through our CAPS program. So we know how important quality is in education and especially in early learning. We have a very robust quality rated system, and that system helps us determine, improve, and communicate the quality of child care And we do that through a star system. So programs that choose to be quality rated can be a 1, 2, or 3 star. The good news is about 2,900 child care programs have received that star rating, so they've gone above and beyond just our regular health and safety licensing requirements, and they've demonstrated that that high quality. 98% of our children that receive our CAP subsidy are in quality rated programs. We know that quality early learning is important for all children, but it's even more impactful for those children that come from low income families. And we do have a quality rated program in 154 counties in Georgia.
Is that published? Is those star ratings, are
they are published? So you can go to our website and you can see those. Yes, absolutely. And then, of course, you are very familiar with our Georgia's Pre-K program, which has been around since 1992. So we're in our 33rd year. And Georgia remains a leader in Georgia Pre-K. We are one of only a few states that meet all 10 quality standards as recognized by a national organization, NEAR. And we're in the top 10 states of serving over 50% of our 4-year-olds. We do know that Pre-K prepares children for kindergarten. And this school year, we are serving a little over 68,000 students. We did fund 138 new classes all over our state. 70% of our classes have at least 18 students, and we have reduced our waiting list from last year. It's down to 3,310, which is good news for children. We also have a summer transition program that is part of our pre-K program. It is smaller. We serve about 4,000 children in the summer. There are 2 different models. One is a rising pre-K model, and this is for children who are entering pre-K in the fall. We know that children with low language, meaning children with disabilities, children from low-income families, and dual language learners are coming in behind their peers. While during their pre-K year, they're making tremendous gains, but they're still leaving behind their peers. So we began this rising pre-K program about 12 years ago. So this subset of students receives 5 weeks before they start pre-K. We also have a rising kindergarten program, which is 5 weeks after the pre-K year for students who have been in Georgia pre-K but have been identified by their teachers as needing a little extra support before they enter kindergarten. Again, this is a smaller program. About 4,000 children were served in 395 classes last summer, so summer of 2025. And then I will end on just showing you our budget by fund source. We are heavily funded by the feds, about 49% federal, 45% state lottery, and 6.2% in state general dollars. So that's what I have for you this morning. I'm happy to take any questions.
Senator Patrick.
Thank you so much. So important. To what do you attribute the increase in licensed centers that you had on your first slide?
You know, I don't really know. We don't do a lot in building capacity. We support the capacity that exists. So I don't really know. What we're seeing, though, is interesting, is we're seeing a lot more larger centers, so centers that serve a larger number, and we're seeing smaller centers close, so the mom and pops. So we don't really know. A lot of states have not seen that trend. I do think it's a lot of support that we provided with some of our COVID relief dollars. There was definitely a lot of worry that when those dollars ran out, we would see a decline. We have not. We've continued as much as that as we possibly can, but I really can't answer that.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting. I was waiting on you. Senator Sin.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your report. When you speak of quality ratings by the centers, they are not mandated to participate. You said if they choose to want to do that.
So if they receive CAPS, our child care subsidy program, they are required to be
Okay.
quality rated.
Okay.
But if they do not, that would be the voluntary piece.
Do you know how many we have that are not CAPS related? Can you give me an estimate?
I can give you that. I don't think I have that in my notes, but we can give you that. I do not have that with me, but we
Okay,
can definitely give you
that's
that.
okay.
Yes.
And am I recalling the correct dollar figure? $7,500 per student?
Yes, per year.
Wow.
Yes. And just to put that in comparison, the average cost of childcare in Georgia is about $10,000. So that's not covering the full cost of childcare. The family has a fee, which we determine based on their family size and their income. And then, of course, providers are charging more than that. So that family is responsible for the difference between what our CAPS rate pays and what the childcare tuition is.
Thank you.
So that's $833 a month, which is about $200 a week.
Yes,
Wow,
and that's average.
that's average. I think even down in my area, it's a little bit higher than that, I believe.
It probably is. I mean, and the higher the quality, the more expensive it's going to be because you've got to pay your teachers. You know, I try to equate it to everybody, you know, can't believe it's so expensive, but this is the part of the education system that's not funded by fully funded by state, federal, local dollars like our K-12 system. So if you pay for your second grade education, it would be really expensive too if that was funded primarily by parents because we're paying for teachers in a classroom.
Right, okay. No other questions. We appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time. Thank you. Department of Education, DOE. Thank y'all for being here. If y'all just introduce yourself and then, thank you. Introduce yourself and then turn around and tell us what line you're talking about.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Can you hear me? Chairman, for the opportunity to present the fiscal year 26 amended budget. I'm Russ Grome. I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
And my name is Sarah Arroyo, and I am the Director of Accountability and Finance.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. I'll go through the major changes from the governor's recommended to the House version of the budget. But before I did want to say, you know, you'll notice throughout the whole budget about $368 million, which is the $2,000 supplement. I did want to make a note that, you know, this supplement is going to go out with the same methodology that we sent out the supplements in 24, which will include classroom teachers, central and school administrative positions, non-QBE teachers and staff, lunchroom workers, custodians, and bus drivers. So I think that's very important to note that. So the first major change in this budget is on page 5. 136.3, you'll see an increased funds for facilities of $1,150,000. This includes a bat infestation remediation at St. Mary's Elementary School in Camden County. The school is currently closed and not ready for reentry. The students and teachers have been relocated, and this funding is to help assist with that. There may be some other facility projects, but that's the only one we were.
So Russ, the whole school is shut down?
Yes, appears the whole school for a bat infestation.
Oh. Wow, okay. And they wouldn't have East Plus money or major repair money to handle that instead of special? Apparently not.
I can check on that. Apparently
No,
it's a
that's
pretty
fine.
costly remediation.
Wow, okay. Thank you.
Yes,
You can
sir.
go on.
All right. Our next major change is on page 8, 140.3. This is increase for funds for college prep AP exams. I think as I mentioned in the joint hearing, the department projects the AP exams to increase to about $5.62 million, which is right on par with what College Board is also projecting. With this, you know, we've already got the PSAT exams, and they came in a little under budget of about $1.42 million. But with the increase in AP exams, we're about $1.38 million short to finish out the year.
So exams are increasing even though student population is decreasing?
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, from the base. Now, the
Right.
base hasn't been adjusted. You'll see in the 27 when we come back, we're going to ask for the base to be adjusted as well so that we don't have to come back each year. So, all right. Page 15. $151.1. Adjust funds for local 5 mil share. It's just mentioned this. This is just a formula true up. Page 16. in the QBE. You'll see adjustments in 152.1, 152.3, 152.4, 152.7. These are all also formula true-ups. On page 16, 152.2, you'll see an adjustment for special needs scholarship. The department is projecting a need of about $1.6 million in our SB 10 funding based on the first, second, and third quarter invoices. You know, when the governor's recommended budget came out, we hadn't had our third quarter invoice processed yet. When that was processed, it's projecting us to be about 1.6 million short. The SB 10 program serves just under 6,000 special needs students and in 295 schools now. So it has been growing each year. And you'll see as in the 27 budget, we're going to ask to have that base adjusted, which hasn't been adjusted in several years, which is why the amount is so high. All right, our next adjustment is on page 19, 156.2. This is to reduce funds based on projected expenditures in our student advocacy specialist grants. Basically, we have $806K that'll still be left in the base. This is enough for 60 positions if the grant goes out April 1st. School systems, I think the bill had us create the job description by December 31st, which we were able to get out to the districts. But as to date, we have not received any reimbursement requests. So. Up next is on page 19, 156.3. This is an increase in fundings for a one-time emergency response system pilot. This is a pilot program at 4 school systems for a drone-based mapping and emergency response system, Campus Guardian Angel.
Do you know where those are? Where the four going to be?
We were not provided that. Page 22. 160.3. This is an increase in funds for one-time funding for youth leadership program, 50,000. Fortunately, that's all the information I have on that one. So. 160.3 on page 22.
Yeah, our page is a little bit different from his, but the line numbers are the same.
Oh.
160.3. And do you have any kind of description on a leadership training program other than just something house put in?
That was a house
Okay.
idea we did.
Okay.
And that's all the major changes that I have. Be happy to answer any questions.
Oh Lord. Okay. It lit up like Christmas tree. We're going to start with ladies first. Senator Kilpatrick.
Yeah, thank you. This question is about an item that's in your continuation budget that's not in the changes.
Okay.
159.3, about the pilot programs for mental health services. Can you talk more about that and how that would interact with Apex, for example?
Yes. So this is the mental health reimbursement for $750,000. This is an investment to fund a pilot program with the Department of Education to test an electronic health records claim engine. It's specifically designed for school-based mental health services that could be scaled statewide. The purpose of the pilot is to demonstrate if schools can generate revenue for services they currently provide. So it's not actually an insurance service, it's to assist schools with getting funding for these services. So our goal is to lessen their reliance on state dollars for these allocated programs, such as Apex, like Apex, which can scale and expand access to care for Georgia's children.
Follow up, Mr. Chair. So how many schools are in the pilot?
We have not got the exact number yet. I know they were still looking to see how many. It was at least 4 that I'm aware of.
So we don't know how many of them are participating in Apex?
Yeah, I believe that's since they haven't determined which schools were going to be chosen yet. I would assume all of them, but I don't have that number. I can get that to you when we get it.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Sims.
I'll pass.
You pass?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Senator Burns. Chairman Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Tell Superintendent Woods we missed his smiling face this morning.
I'll do
We'd
it.
love to see him at 7 a.m. with the rest of us. I want to go back to the bat infestation question.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's a school where?
That is in
St.
Camden,
Camden County. Is that a state school or a county school?
That's a county school.
Do we normally, I realize there's a real problem and it's a significant issue, but I'm just wondering why we chose to make that a state expenditure.
This was a house
House ad.
ad.
I noticed that. Just a question.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Also, on 140.3.
Okay.
40.3.
Yes.
Those are increased funds for college prep exam. I assume that's ACT,
It's
SAT.
it's the AP exam.
It's the AP exams, okay?
Yes, sir. The
And
P-
do you know how that number was arrived at?
So the kids that take the AP exam have already signed up for the exam. So what we do is from College Board, we get a cost of how many of them are because it provides for free and reduced lunch students to take an AP exam and then one STEM for all students. So based on what the kids have registered to take the classes in the spring, that provides us the estimate for the AP
So
exams.
if they qualify free and reduce lunch, then they get
One free exam.
one free AP exam,
Yes, sir.
and
And then they all get one free STEM exam.
one free STEM exam. Thank you. Okay.
Yes,
If I could just
Yes,
follow.
sir. Yeah, you're fine.
Enrollment. How's enrollment in Georgia's secondary schools?
The FTE decline. Yes, as I talk, I have the slides here, but which was an extra. It was a rare year for us because the actual FTEs went down 34,000. We hadn't seen a drop like this since COVID, which was 36,000 students. So it was a significant drop, and I've got a chart I can share that we did research. We contacted all districts. They were aware of this decline. Some are doing their own research committees. It was kind of across the board as to why this decline occurred, but one of the significant is you can see the trend going in kindergartners, and it used to be kindergartners up here, high school graduates down here, and it's kind of switched. So as more kids have left, less are coming in.
Do you see that trend continuing?
It does appear, I think, that it appears it's lower in the lower grades. So as those kids move into kindergarten, I would expect that trend to continue.
My understanding is that virtually every school system in the state has declined by point and a half, in some cases more than that. Anyway, that my point is, candidly, QBE is enrollment funded.
Mhm.
So, over time, if your funding is on enrollment and your enrollment is declining, how do you reconcile that?
So as you can see in the QBE this year, I think it was 9 million was the enrollment growth, and in other years it's a lot higher. We did see decreases in the elementary school, middle school, and high school across the board. However, there were also increases in some of the higher cost areas. So when you look at like gifted, the special needs categories, we did see growth there. But in addition, in QBE, you also have training experience and state health costs. So with the SHBP increase, especially in 27, you're going to see a larger expense in QBE. But overall, if everything stayed the same, you would see.
You would, and my point is, the QBE system and the FTE counts, how old is that model?
Was it the 80s?
85.
40,
85.
85? Yeah.
And my point is, perhaps it's time to reconsider an alternative. Not this morning, but over time. And I would ask that you think about that and have the superintendent think about that, and have the Board of Education, State Board of Education think about that, and make your recommendations. And I would ask that at least some component of that be performance-based. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Great comment, great suggestion. Senator Davenport.
Did you?
No, that's me, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Orr. I'm sorry.
Good morning, thank you,
You
Mr.
snuck
Chair.
in on me.
Yeah, I just, in terms of this enrollment challenge, have we evaluated the children that have left the public school system to go into these voucher programs to private schools? I mean, that's not necessarily your job, but I'm just saying that occurs to me. That is a dynamic, is it not? That is one of the balls in the air, is that we've created a pathway to private schools.
I think we'll have Mr. Green address that. Would you mind? Now, y'all may know. Would you address that? Yes. Okay. Not trying to cut you off, but
Oh, no.
He's got all the numbers on private scholarship and all.
Excellent. And of course, it's the job of the legislature, the governor, to redo the QBE formula, is it not?
I'm not a fan. Excuse me. Are you through?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was just posing a rhetorical question.
I didn't mean it. Ms. Davenport, you have anything, sir? I'm a little bit out of sync this morning, and I apologize. We had no electricity last night from 7:30 until I left this morning. So I walked around the apartment this morning with a flashlight in my mouth, and so if it hadn't have been for the mullis room right over here, I probably would not have had a shower. So I'm a little bit out of sync, but that's really what it is. I wanted y'all to know because it's normally not like this. I'm not a fan of round numbers. Round numbers to me look like they were just pulled out of every time number. So we got two round numbers I want to ask you about. 152.8, which is the $1.4 million for non-certified management positions in the TRS program. And is that a number that y'all came up with, or is that just I'm sure I think it was in the governor's budget and y'all's budget, but did y'all do any kind of detailed analysis of that? It's 152.8.
Yeah, 152.
I'm sorry, 152.8.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we have done a projection analysis on that. The number was very, very similar to what the governor has recommended here. We do have a more exact number, but it's pretty on point. And we can share that projection with your office.
Thank you. And those non-certified school management positions are who? Like
That's
dietary supervisors and it like that?
I can provide that list. I think it's like one resource. It's a specific list of schools in the code. It's not all non-certified. It's just there's a specific list that's within QBE, and I can provide that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you mind getting us that exact number? And then jump to, and I know social workers are a big deal, and I know we've got, I think there's about $1.3 million in here, additional money for social workers and all. That number is still one social worker for 2,400 students or some number like.
2475.
Huh?
One per every 2475.
2475. Okay.
And that grant is allowing us, if they came under that, to ensure that every school system has at least one social worker.
And so can you give us a hard number on that too?
The 1,000,003.
Yes, sir.
78.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. But Lynn's and I are going to pull some numbers together today, and I'd like for us to have them today, please. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? We don't want to slide. Well, thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much. Employees Retirement System, Mr. Popman. Oh, yeah. Committee members, you've got in your hands a handout like this that's got employees retirement system at the top, and there's some hypothetical assumptions that Mr. Popman is going to go over at a big upper level position, not detailed line item by line item, but I think along with his presentation. So, Senator Orr, you got yours?
Thank you, yes.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir. Floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Jim Potvin. I'm the Executive Director for the Employees Retirement System of Georgia. Mr. Chairman, do you want me to talk about the budget items at all?
No, you do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever I want to do.
Whichever line you want, wherever you want to start.
been nice
I
seeing you.
definitely want you to talk. I would definitely want you to talk about it, but the floor is yours.
Okay, we're section 25. We have 4 programs. The first, deferred compensation, has no adjustments from last year to the amended.
Now, what line number are you?
160.
163.1.
Okay, 160.
163.1.
Oh, 163. Okay.
Otherwise known as page 23.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
So no adjustment in that one, and that's a self-funded, plan-funded item anyway. Next item, Georgia Military Pension Fund, 164.1, has a very small decrease in the amount of the appropriation required for the annual contribution per the actuarial valuation. 165.1, the Public School Employees Retirement System, has a larger decrease, $2.8 million. This again is due to the requirements, the funding, as noted in the actuarial valuation, and also based on changes that were made to the system in the 1 and 2 year periods prior. So the requirement has declined by that $2.8 million. And then System Administration, ERS 166.1. The only change there is a $50 million add by the House, which we presume it was a surprise to us. We presume that is for just an overall improvement in the funded position of the system. It's relatively modest. It would improve the funded ratio by something like 1/4 percentage point if it were to remain in there.
So that's not a direct payout to the retirees. That's to go into the.
My understanding is that the intention of this is to go into the fund, yeah.
Okay.
So in FY26, we did have an appropriation of $36.75 million. I think that's what you're thinking of. Those payments were made in the form of one-time payments in the month of December with a maximum payment of something like $830.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Okay. But the main topic du jour with respect to ERS is, of course, cost of living adjustments. There's been a narrative that I've heard circulating that we haven't done anything for retirees since 2009. It is certainly true that we have not provided a 3% COLA in any year since 2009. But I do want to go over recent history just to kind of give you an idea of the path that we're on and what we're trying to establish. We began making one-time payments, these 13th checks, if you will, in 2017, and we've done so every year with one exception since then. So this is, I believe, our 10th year of this, 9 out of 10 years. The last 4 of which have been funded by direct appropriations from the General Assembly and the Governor's Office, between $26 and $36 million. The payments on an annual basis have ranged from $550 up to as high as $1,800 in any given year. So that's the first item. The second item is the 2 $500 million extraordinary contributions, which were made with the intent of boosting our funded ratio. The reason for that will become clear when I go over the calculation examples in the handout in front of you. And the third and most significant item is for the first time in our history, adding pre-funding to the system for the express purpose of funding COLAs into the future. And by that, I mean something that is sustainable, that will be payable on an annual basis going forward. That began in 2022. $150 million per year was added to our annual contributions to sustain that, and that resulted in an average contribution, or average COLA expectation of about 1.05% per year. That expectation has been revised. We did an experience study this year, and the new expectation for that same contribution is now 1.15%. So it's a modest increase as a result of that experience study. I should point out that The addition of that pre-funding was to offset a $1.6 billion liability that was applicable to that 1.15% average COLA. COLAs are expensive, so a 3% COLA, which is many people's goals, and I would share that goal, is obviously expensive as well. And so I think the biggest outcome of the formula, the structure that we have in place, is that we have something started and that we have something that we can incrementally improve over time as funding continues to be available to do that, to get to ultimately that goal. And with that in mind, I want to point you to the handout. First page of the handout is basically an explanation of how we determine, under the formula that we've established, what the amount of the COLA is going to be each year. Again, 1.05 or 1.15% is an average expectation for all COLAs into the future. They're going to vary year by year. That's a feature of the way we've done this. So there's a couple of key definitions that I want you to understand first. Actuarial rate of return is basically a proxy for the 5-year average annual rate of return on investments that the system has experienced in the previous 5 years. The hurdle rate is a benchmark that we've established for investments. If we exceed that hurdle rate, then we have, in our view, money available in the system to devote toward paying COLAs. If we don't reach that benchmark, then we do not, and we would not pay a COLA in that given year. So how do we actually determine the COLA amount? We determine what we call the excess return, which is just the definition, is defined as the actuarial rate of return, the 5-year rate of return, in excess of the hurdle rate. The amount of that excess is then compared to our funded ratio, according to that table in step 2. When our funded ratio was in the 70% range, we could share a quarter of that excess return. The reason that it was important for us to get to the 80%, and the reason that $500 million contributions were so well received by us, is that it allowed us to get to the 80% range, which doubles the amount of that we can share to half of the excess. And then we simply use the amount that's determined there, or the inflation rate, whichever is less, in order to provide the actual COLA amount. So let me make that clear by going through the examples that we've provided, starting on page 2. Example 1A, what I've labeled example 1A, is the actual calculation that we used for the COLAs that were payable on July 1st of 2025, so the most recent year. The hurdle rate in the formula is currently set at 6%, has been that way since we established the formula. The actuarial or 5-year rate of return for the previous 5 years was 8.45%. Our funded ratio was in the 70s, 75.9%, which means that the shareable factor was the 1/4, 25%. And the inflation rate that we use, which we use the Social Security COLA rate as of the prior January, was 2.5%. That was the increase to Social Security payments the prior January. So, as I described before, we take the actuarial rate of return, and we subtract the hurdle rate to get what we call the excess amount. That's 2.45% in this example. Because we're sharing 25% of that, we multiply 2.45 times 1/4, and we get to 0.6125%. We round to the nearest 1/4%, gives us a 0.5% COLA for the year.
0.5, not 5.
0.5.
0.5.
That's correct. It's very modest for sure. Now, because we have these variables in there, there are mechanisms, again, as funding becomes available, to improve that formula over time. So what if we dropped the hurdle rate to something lower to make it easier to exceed the standard in the formula for paying COLAs? That's what example 1B does. So it's basically the same calculation as our July 1st of 2025 calculation, but with a hypothetical of the hurdle rate being set a percentage point lower. In that case, the excess return is 8.45% minus 5%, which gives us 3.45%. Multiply that by the shareable factor of 1/4, it gives you an ultimate COLA of 0.75%. So it's a 50% higher COLA than we were actually able to provide that year.
Still less than 1.
Pardon?
Still less than 1%.
That one's still less than 1, correct. If you'll go to the next page, example 2A, this describes the COLA that we expect to pay this July. Now, these are not set in stone because the actuarial evaluation hasn't been completed yet, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to come out at or very close to this number. So again, we're back to the actual formula. COLA hurdle rate is 6%. Our actuarial rate of return has jumped to 9.9%. So we've had very good investment results the last 5 years. You'll recall the 2021 year where we had a 29% rate of return. That was offset to some degree by the poor 2022, but the last 3 years have all been in double-digit returns. So we've had a very good 5-year experience, 5-year return of 9.9%. Funded ratio is estimated to be about 82%, so we've moved up a tier in that chart so we can share half of the excess rather than just a quarter of the excess. And the Social Security COLA rate was 2.8%, so that's the maximum that we would pay regardless of how the other calculations come out. So what's the calculation look like? The excess return, 9.9%, less the hurdle rate, gives us a shareable amount of 3.9%. We're going to use half of that because we're funded in the 80% range now. That gives us 1.9%, which rounds up to 2%. So our COLA is expected to be 2% this July.
So it rounds up, okay.
They round, in this particular case, it rounded up. That's correct. So helped in part by the investment return and helped in part by the fact that we're now 80% funded instead of 70%
Is this something
funded.
that y'all devise, this formula? Is this something y'all devise, or is this some other states use, or how did?
There are a couple of other states that do something like this, not very many. We worked in consultation with our actuaries to pull on their knowledge and devise. This is a custom formula that we devise with some input.
Okay, thank you.
Again, we felt it was very important for us as a system to be able to react to events that are surrounding the system. So if we're having a series of bad investment years, we want to pull back a little bit and be careful and not overstep what the system can provide. If the system is better funded, then we should react to that by being able to provide better COLAs. So we've got these levers that are being pulled. And of course, if we're talking about a cost of living adjustment, then we should be cognizant of and aware of the inflation rate and try our best to hit that number as much as we can.
So the hurdle rate is the rate that y'all hope you earn. And is that before management fees or after management fees?
That it's not exactly the investment rate of return, so there's cash flow. It's an actuarial calculation, but it's based on investment return net of fees.
Okay. And y'all been using this for a good long time?
We've been using it since 2022.
Oh, 2020, okay. Okay. Because the time situation, we have Senator Orange.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for giving us this. I think this is the first time we've seen something like this, I believe.
That is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true that this was concocted in 2022,
Yes.
and that it is, you can move the numbers around, change the hurdle rate. There's all kinds of levers. It's a formula. There's nothing really magic about it. It's one that was presented as an alternative to restoring 3% COLAs.
Right, and if I may, it was based on the amount of funding available to us at that time. At no point have we ever said this is the final formula that we're going to use. At some point, we hope to create a formula, again, funding permitting, that allows for an average much closer to that 3% number.
If I could have a couple of further questions. We have Senate Bill 339 in our retirement committee, which expressed the will of the committee to return to the 3% COLAs for our state retirees. And you ran through the numbers of things that were a lot, spent as a replacement to the 3% COLA over time as legislators raised deep concerns we've all been a witness to this, and understand what I'm talking about. About people about our state retirees being left behind, and really the people with the low income jobs that they had with the state having a very modest pension to start with, and then to have that shrink by virtue of stopping the COLAs has left us, brought us to this point where there's a real appetite, I think, among policymakers in both houses to recognize and get to the SB 339 COLA, and just in terms of that, you cited 2% this year in July. Now, are the costs that are cited to implement the 339 provisions mandating the annual 3% COLAs, are they meant to fund an additional COLA on top of the current annual 1.15 COLA?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, that's the way that. So, and how much of, if any, of the stated increase in the annual employer contribution of the 500.9 million will be reduced by the current annual funding of 150?
None of it.
None of it will be.
That includes the fact that we already get some annual funding. That $500 million is incremental to what was already in the system.
Jim, say that again, please.
So the bill that Senator Ark is referring to has a stated cost, according to the fiscal study, of about $500 million a year would need to be added to our annual contributions to fully fund that legislation. She was asking, so it's the fact that we're already receiving 150 take away any part of that obligation, and my answer to that is no, that the actuaries accounted for the fact that we already have 150 million coming in when they were determining that number.
Okay. Senator Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I appreciate your work with ERS. I appreciate the trustees, and I appreciate the conservative approach to funding COLAs for all state retirees in the system. We didn't get to your last example, and that's the example that shows perhaps a lower ARR, annual rate of return, which would unfortunately not support as strong a COLA. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. All right, I want to go quickly back to 166.1, $50 million add by the House.
Yes.
Is that an actuarially? Is that needed? Is that an actuarial expectation or need? How does it impact the overall solvency and ability of ERS to fund their obligations?
It's an add-on to the actual requirement, so it's not part of the valuation. It's a discretionary contribution that the House has chosen to include at this time.
Would that contribution support COLAs?
In an every little bit helps kind of way. $50 million. So the cost of a 3% COLA just in 1 year, a true 3% COLA, adds a little over $400 million to the liabilities of the system. So $50 million compared to that is a incremental amount.
Thank you. I just wondered why that was not a request by ERS.
It was not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jim. Thank you. And I really do appreciate this. This helps me out a lot, and so at least we have got something to know how y'all do it.
It's tough to cover this in 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and so
that's right.
I just want to express my willingness to meet with anybody who needs further information about this. I know it's complicated.
Thank you. Our friend from our part of the world, here he comes, Claxton, Georgia.
He's had lots of different parts of the world.
Oh, is
Moving targets harder to hit, Senator Burns. Chairman Hickman and all our committee members, I'm pleased to be here with you this morning. My name is Joseph. Please call me Jody Barrow. I'm the Executive Secretary of the Professional Standards Commission. And our agency budget can be found on section 27 up under the governor's section, Office of Professional Standards Commission. I believe that's pages 26 and 27. I always like to start with the why. Simon Sinek talks about that, but getting to that, the purpose of our appropriation is to direct the preparation of the certification, recognition, recruitment, and I'd like to talk about retention of teachers and educators, also to enforce the standards regarding our educator professional preparation, working very closely with Chancellor Perdue and the USG system, looking at performance and also looking at ethics. So our funding is very flat. We do very much appreciate the governor's recommendation of the $2,000 salary supplement, and we'll be looking at that. Not to give you a round number, Senator, it's $157,169 for our staff. We're small but mighty. We are going to share with you, we're going to actually send some money back to you because of y'all blessed us with 2 new investigators, ethics investigators from last year's in FY26. But to find the right people, to get the real high quality investigators that we were looking for, we took our time. We hired them later in the year, and because of that, we're going to send you a little money back, just under $50,000 based on their salary and benefits that we didn't pay. So we're sending that back to you. Also, there's going to be a small impact with regard to state health benefit plan dollars, and we'll be sending back just under $33,000 to you. So we operate conservatively. I never miss an opportunity to plant a seed. If our literacy bills, as they're written, pass, there's going to be some need for some additional staffing there. I'll just plant that seed with you because we're going to be required to do more. I've mentioned that probably also impacts GOSA and maybe a few other agencies as well. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, committee? No questions?
Appreciate your support.
Thank you, sir. Hey, you have a great day. The Governor's Office of Student Achievement. Here she comes. Now, you have been technically, how long, 6 months?
Has it been 6 months?
I don't know. I know it hasn't been very long.
It seems like longer. Good morning, Chairman and committee members. Thank you for having us. I'm Fran Dundor. I'm the Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement, and I have with me our Chief Number Operator and of all things, Jackie Lundberg, who will be sharing with you the amendments to our fiscal year 2026 budget this morning.
So we only have a few changes other than the administrative changes and the 2,000. The first one is a $9 million request for the Navigator Top State for Talent initiative, and that comes directly out of the governor's cross-agency education and
182.2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 182.2.
Line.
Page 28.
Yeah, page 28.
Thank you.
Okay, so that comes directly out of the governor's office for the governor's education and workforce strategy team. And that is with the high demand Georgia match. So this is kind of the next phase, which is a Navigator tool. So
We have a one-pager there for you,
Yeah.
just to kind of give you some description of what we expect that development to look like.
Oh, okay. Right here. Y'all got this?
looks like this.
Oh, okay. There we go. Right there. Okay.
Yeah. So 2 handouts for you there. One is just a few slides of our amended budget, and the other should be a one-pager that gives you an overview of the expectation for
So
the
is
Navigator project.
Is that something that's going into the high school so that students can look in the 9th and 10th grade and kind of help? That's not.
It will actually be, and I'll let Jackie expand on this because she's been part of the conversations for development with a cross-agency team. It truly is a collaborative effort. But this platform, Chairman, will be something that can be accessed by anyone in the state who is planning to join the workforce or planning to further their education. It literally will be a navigator that will allow them information on credentialing, that will allow them information on their next steps, funding sources, and Jackie, you jump in, but opportunities such as those, that is a one-stop shop for Georgians.
So will it guide them to help them kind
Yes,
of
it will help.
zero in on what's best for them or what they're more
That's
capable
correct, based on their input, and it will be an AI-guided tool as we are seeking, more information about how that might be developed. Governor Kemp mentioned this at Eggs and Issues. He
Right,
sort of, as he introduced some next hints at legislation that are coming, and we hope are coming very soon. We anticipate them, and this will be part of building out that top state for
Okay.
talent work.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next change we have is for the Governor's School Leadership Academy. We had 3 vacant positions, and so a $314,719 were given back. I believe the House put an additional 114 or so thousand reduction.
Yeah, what number?
184.2.
Yes, he's your, yes, sir.
Where's the 9 million?
The 900 was
9 million?
Was 182.2,
182.
and now we're on 184.2.
Yeah, 180, yeah. Have y'all already got bids on the Navigator? Or,
RFP is going to be going out very soon.
okay, so that's just a swag.
Beginning project phases.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
All
But
right.
that would be for that tool and the operational costs.
That's right.
So it's everything.
Okay, thank you. Good.
And then lastly, literacy initiative. We had a vacant, well, it's not a vacancy, it's a savings in the dyslexia screener or the universal screener. And it was all about, it's a one-time implementation. It's just the time frame that the contract was signed. Some schools had already made the decision, had to make their decision. And so we had some leftover funding for that. And so we're giving back $282,688, and then $300,000 of that will be repurposed for one time for America 250 funds.
185.2. Oh, yeah, that's dyslexia stuff, yeah. Okay.
And we don't anticipate that same savings every year. It's just because
Right.
of the time frame.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it. That's all for changes.
Senator Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the information that you provided us. Please tell me about America 250 Literacy Initiatives. Is that a program to be used in all of the schools, or?
It is an opportunity to be afforded all of the schools. It is part of President Trump's request for every state to participate in America's 250th birthday. Georgia's part of that. Our agency has been asked to be part of that, and we are doing that through an allocation of those literacy funds. We are supporting libraries in Georgia. We are supporting literacy opportunities in Georgia for students, and a campaign that promotes reading for America 250.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Dr. Barrow made a comment yesterday in a meeting and talking about promotion of literacy is how well Chick-fil-A promotes their sandwiches. And you see them everywhere. And
That's
so
right.
we want people to be aware of literacy also.
That's right.
Senator Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for what you do. I want to go back to the Navigator,
Yes, sir.
and I certainly support the concept and the need. The target, I'm trying to understand who would utilize the Navigator and how.
So any learner within Georgia of all ages, and we have been very specific about from 9th grade when they first do kind of their aptitude and ability test to say what you'd be good at, that kind of information they can feed into the tool. And through linking of the high demand career list and credentials, a credential registry, it will help them navigate their career in the most efficient way to get the credential that will help them get the job.
So middle school through?
Yes, through adulthood. It will also be we're bringing in the workforce, so the WIOA for unemployed. Yeah, it's for all ages.
At any point, you would be entering the workforce or higher education.
Or re-entry.
Or
into the
re-entry.
workforce.
Okay.
Have y'all seen this in other states?
Yeah, that was a follow-up.
Yeah.
We have seen versions of it. I will say this is probably going to be the first in the nation that encompasses everything that we're attempting to put in there.
How does it interface with our technical colleges, our universities?
So that will be, it's breaking down some of those, I don't want to say silos, but some of the independent systems and bringing the data together. It won't replace anybody's system, but what it'll do is have a user interface that will allow them to see their Georgia match. And then we have a credential registry that brings in TCSG, USG, private colleges, and DOE career pathways to show them where the training for whatever credential they're looking for can be found.
One more, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Georgia Match has been a very successful program. Who administers Georgia Match?
That is Georgia Student Finance Commission,
Georgia Student Finance. Thank you very much.
and they are also part of this.
Thank you.
Senator Kirkpatrick.
Thank you. It's an intriguing idea, a career navigator. When my kids were in middle school, I believe, we took them to a career counselor who did extensive testing for a day or two, and then we got a report back later. And I'm just trying to understand how this program would work. Is there that type of depth to it? And that's one question. Then the other question is, had you considered a pilot to see how this would actually be utilized?
So this will not replace the career counselors. It will bring the counseling from schools and universities in this. But it's also a way to help you be able to just explore different things using, being able to put your own input. So that report that you got back from that counselor, I could put that in the system, and it would use the information from that along with all the linking of the skill sets and credentials and the high demand career list to kind of offer me suggestions on what would be maybe a good match. It's also bringing in the Georgia match, which would tell me, I'm already pre-qualified for these institutions.
If I may, I recognize we're trying to paint a picture, a conceptual picture for you in a one-pager that describes something that truly is intended to provide access for Georgians at all levels. And we anticipating a way we would do that in a pilot, because it is going to plug in so many partners in the state, is another conceptual thing I would have to consider, but certainly we'll take that back. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We're gonna move on. Y'all did a great job. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank y'all for your hard work and support. The Chancellor, you've been very patient. You're waiting back there. We appreciate it.
Not a native attribute. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. Good to see you all this morning. My overqualified staff has prepared a 30-page script this morning. I'm happy to read for you all, but if you want to go directly to the numbers, we can do that as well. So it's good morning, and I won't try to filibuster you too badly. But we can begin. By the way, we just appreciate the governor's recommendation, appreciate you all as an investment in higher education. I think what you all have done over the years is getting a good return on investment for our state. I call it a flywheel of economic development. This talent flow is really what we're talking about. That's what these ladies were talking about, and that's what we're trying to do. Before I begin, Senator Burns, we also heard you mention with K through 12 some performance-based funding. You all allocate the money to USG, and we allocate it. We are now taking a portion of that and starting performance-based funding for our 25 institutions as well. So
Thank
hopefully
you.
that will work
Thank you.
as well.
Thank you.
So we'll have more report on that as we go along. We'll begin we're really on the $2,000 dollar supplement. We're appreciative. You'll find that scattered on all our programs from page 30 to page 41, 279.1 to 293.1. But that totals $101 million, $229,754.32, Mr. Chairman. So that's that, and we're grateful on behalf of our employees for that supplement in that way. The next line will be on page 36 as 288.1. That is a partnership between MCG, our Medical College of Georgia, and Clark Atlanta, specifically for prostate cancer research. That was added in the House to the governor's recommendations. And the next one is really an ad in the House as well for our PINES program. You know, that's the program that allows us to move documents and books and periodicals between systems there. It's very helpful, but obviously with transportation costs and others, that $146,233 on 289.2 was needed for the rising cost of our PINES program. And then the big one, obviously, that everybody, I'm looking forward to your questions here. I won't speak a lot about it initially, but I'll be happy to answer any questions. We're grateful to the governor's recommendation of $325 million for our DREAMS program. That's between our university system, our technical college system, for needs-based scholarships in that regard. We've provided to the leadership chairman here the parameters of those, and we'll continue working on that, looking for feedback. The House, the governor's idea was that $25 million would be immediately available for expenditures for scholarships for this and the next year. The House, I think, had some questions about the parameters on that, and they removed the $25 million for immediate there and left the $300 million endowment in there. That's on program 291.2 on page 39. And I think as a joint hearing that you all were there, you have our commitment that we'll continue to raise that kind of endowment over the years. I think probably to throw off the kind of money that we're going to need from this endowment, we'd like to see that probably from philanthropic efforts, probably 5 to 6 times that in that way to meet the needs gap that we have in this system. On 291.3, it's $15,000 that was unspent based upon your appropriation last year. This was for it. It says alternative college admission test, but it really was AP test there that we put in last year, and we have not been able to consummate a contract with those folks that way. Under 291.4 on page 39, you see $67,000 again. Galileo has been a tremendous advantage for our students and all Georgians actually in the availability there. But those electronic subscription costs continue to rise, and that $67,000 is to support that. Under 296.1 and 299.1, they're just some pass-through organizations of the Commission on the Holocaust for a small amount of money, and the Public Telecommunications Commission of $211,000. Those are pass-through. Our capital budget is contained in the GSFIC budget that way, and I'll mention again, we're very appreciative of the MRR additional funding of $40 million. As you might imagine, with 25 institutions, really 26 and some multi-campus, there are a lot of deferred maintenance there goes on. We're working it down, but this is just the old leaky roof kind of thing. The sooner you can repair it, the less it's going to cost ultimately going forward. So we're using those monies in deferred maintenance and MRR very, very well in that regard. We see the House did make a major change from the governor's recommendation of our Guggenheim School of Aerospace Engineering at Georgia Tech. If you've been there, that's a building for probably our #1 export industry in the Georgia. Is sorely needed. Georgia is a leader in this, and we've got several major companies here, from Gulfstream to Delta to Lockheed to many others here, developing aerospace engineering, and Tech has a wonderful program. The governor recommended cash funding in the amended. The House began the design and construction there, but then wanted to mention bonding that in the big budget for 27 that way. So that's the difference there. You'll see also the $5.6 million is for the design for the School of Nursing at the University of Georgia, the flagship, to go along with our new medical school there, which is the next line item for the equipment for the School of Medicine in the University of Georgia, $11,430,000 for that. And that will be, I hope you're pleased that's happening fast. We're going to enroll students this fall for that school, and hopefully turn out more physicians for our state, which are sorely needed. And we also appreciate, it's not on our budget, but we appreciate the GME money that as the governor's recommended as well for medical residencies, that way to keep those students here. The House did add, it was a project approved by the Board of Regents, but it was not funded by the governor, at the Georgia College and State University for arts and sciences renovation. Those are mostly academic spaces there, $29,800,000 there. And then, that was really for the optometry at Georgia Southern, and $29,800,000. We had a Trip Umbaugh did a search or a study, and you all probably know that we do not have an optometry school in Georgia, and our students have to go out of state to receive that degree, and I think it's sorely needed. And the report feasibility study showed that it was needed, and a good place would be at Georgia Southern for that, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if you're familiar with that school or not, but that'd be a good place for it.
I think I've seen the study.
Okay. And then the $5 million, obviously, is Georgia College and State University renovation there for that as well. So I'll be happy to answer questions. I kind of went over the Dreams-Based Scholarship very quickly, but I'd be happy to answer any questions about that or any of the other items there. But we're very grateful, obviously, for the $2,000 supplement. Also, the funding formula that continues to grow, a record number of 382,000 students this fall, a record number of degrees and diplomas. I heard the FTE on K through 12 is going down. Ours is going up continually, and we look like we've got good retention for this spring semester as well, with new numbers that will be coming in soon for that as well. So we appreciate the investment. We hope we're being good stewards of the money that you all are appropriating to the university system.
Senator Burns.
Shall I read the rest of the report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chancellor. Appreciate all your work. Appreciate the system and what it does for Georgia. A couple of things I appreciate, and the Chancellor and I have had more than one conversation about performance-based funding. We're going to look forward to that, and I've read the Constitution many times. I understand the legislature's responsibility is to fund the system, and then the regents have the privilege of appropriately allocating it. I'm grateful for that. And I also want to thank the Chancellor for his efforts to develop the DREAMS program. It is a significant life-changing opportunity. So let's look quickly at DREAMS, and I do appreciate some draft information that your staff has provided on how we might work through this process. Sure. At the end of the day, explain to the committee how you see DREAMS working, and how the legislature and maybe Georgia Student Finance might interact with that.
Yes, the parameters are really of the neediest students. While I mentioned in my joint hearing about the affordability, I think you all ought to be proud of the fact that based upon your appropriation, our tuition and fees were less in the fall of 25 than in the fall of 21. through the special institution fee reduced based upon that. But still, with the cost of college going up, obviously their transportation, their other issues of housing and room and board, those are the things that are uncontrollable by our university system, and we've not been able to control that, and everyone knows the inflationary impact of that for the cost of college going up. So this is what it is meant to address. It's the neediest of the neediest. We're using a proxy of Pell qualification. The parameters require a completion of a FAFSA report for everyone, and we're looking at trying to allocate from $300 to $3,000 per year on the parameters of the award to the neediest there. This will be allocated back. We will work with our student finance partners. That's their business of allocating these monies out to the campuses based on the numbers that we give them of eligible students, and that would be sent to the bursars to be dispersed. No more than the cost of attendance. I mean, we're not going to college is not a fundraising kind of thing. So this is to meet the needs of unmet needs there in our college education. But I can go through really all those guidelines and requirements. But we would love the feedback on that.
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that, Chancellor, and I recognize that we're still early in the process. We're still trying to kind of navigate how dreams might be operationalized.
Correct.
And I
That's
appreciate that. And I think one of the questions is ultimately the endowed component, and I do support the endowment. I certainly support some initial investment so that we can go ahead and begin this program in 28 academic year, 26-27 academic year. How do you envision ultimately how these the endowed funds would be managed and then allocated back out to USG and TCSG?
Right.
And if I understand the drafts, what is the anticipated split there, so to speak, between technical college students and USG students?
Once again, the money will be in a safe treasury account here with the state invested in either the way the rate return from the employee retirement system today, doing very well that way, but that will be there. Obviously, we would anticipate turning over about 4% a year of the endowment. That's why we need to continue to raise more money in that way, allocated out. The division, I've met with Commissioner Greg Dozier and with TCSG, and we're looking at working on our needs-based numbers there right now. I think in conjunction with OPB, we're looking at probably an 85-15 split initially on those funds, going out between USG at 382,000 students and TCSG at less than that. So that was the initial there, but it really is a process in working in order in that way to determine finally how all that gets worked.
There are a number of opportunities here, a number of questions, but I want to say I certainly support the Chancellor and his work with the Governor in securing a significant endowment in the budget, and I support that, and I also support finding ways to fund the early on component of this so that we can begin these needs-based scholarships in 26-20.
Thank you. We appreciate that, and we would obviously ask for the Senate's help in the initial award that gets, I think the initial award of the $25 million helps us to get started before this endowment and investment from that can really throw off funds.
Senator O'Rourke has one question.
Didn't know she was interested.
When I get to be chairman of the higher education, I'll get two questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Chancellor. As I recall, our very first conversation that we had after you took the role of Chancellor, what was my question about how can we tackle this challenge, and we have arrived at a new place. I know that from the beginning you wanted to see this addressed, and now we're really moving forward. It's all over the state, I think there's anticipation about this and enormous support, having the governor put it in the budget. And I understand that there's so many steps and stages, to do a launch of this. Are you still? Is the plan of requiring a work component, or is that one of the things that you're looking at?
Definitely
How
is.
to
That's
do
one
that?
of the parameters. Work or service, internships, public service, those kind of things is certainly a part. We want this to be a hand up, not a handout. And we believe students ought to have some skin in the game through their sweat equity or efforts in that regard. Many of them are working already, but the ones that are not can have internships, work-study programs at school, and those kind of things. We're encouraging our campuses to provide not only the scholarships, but also work opportunities for students on their campuses.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's time-honored tradition, and yields very positive results. And the truth is, as you said, the likelihood of students with high financial needs, that they've already been working, and that's going to be typical for the more that they can tend to their studies, and that's connected to their performance, the better. I would say that the House taking away that $25 million would be something that we'd want to look at, as we negotiate with them about the whole budget.
Well, they did, excuse me, Senator, they
sure.
did say that was up for discussion. I think they just maybe didn't feel like they had as much information as they needed on the $25 million, and we're answering any questions they have.
Well, thank you so much. This is a great new step forward for Georgia, and we're optimistic. And the only other thing that's on the table on my mind at this point is that the independent colleges and universities, I believe there are 22 that are all under GICA, and they, of course, would like consideration of how this could be a seamless weave between the privates and the publics, and that's a challenge for us. We have they've actually submitted from Spelman, just asking that we look at that going forward, and I want to share that with the committee.
One more question from Senator Burns.
I apologize, Chancellor. I want to go back to 371.2, which is the aerospace building at Georgia Tech. Again, I want to acknowledge the fact that aerospace is the #2 industry in our state. And it's critical that we find the resources to support the project. And quick anecdote, when I was a freshman at Georgia Tech over 50 years ago, I had calculus in what was then the new aerospace building at Georgia Tech. Perhaps he could use a little attention, Chancellor, and I support the full project. And again, I just want to make sure our friends in the House honor their commitment to fund that fully in FY27.
I would hope so, Senator. Thank you very much. If the members of the General Assembly went to the building, I think they would be happy to fund that. It's also noteworthy that Georgia Tech, and through their philanthropy and their old institutional funds, are also contributing $105 million to this project as well. So it's not totally on your shoulders.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Great report. I'm really excited. Yes, sir. Good day. Have a great day. Thank you, sir. Always thank you. Georgia Student Finance. He's going to tell us about a Promise Scholarship. How successful it has maybe been. Chris, tell us where you're at in the report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Chris Green. I serve as president of the Georgia Student Finance Commission. We are going to be on page 44, also section 44, Student Finance Commission and Authority. Thank you for the invitation to present the governor's recommended changes for amended fiscal year 26.
I understand. Yeah, you better look.
Senator Davenport.
Senator Davenport.
Yes, sir.
Take it away.
Committee members, our first change is 322.1. This is the statewide recommendation from the governor to provide a one-time salary supplement of $2,000. We are very honored to administer the $1 billion that you entrust to us with only 124 employees, and so I hope we demonstrate a great ROI on your investment, and thank you for your consideration. Mr. Chairman, that recommended increase is $245,442. Next, item 323.1. This is a recommended increase of $18 million for the dual enrollment program. Then down at 324.1, this is a one-time true-up request from Mercer University for the engineering scholarship. This is a one-time reduction of $160,000 just based on how many students they think they'll serve this year. Next, item 325.1. This is a recommended increase from the governor, $439,000 to meet the projected need for the Georgia Military College. Next is 326.1. This is a recommendation from the House instructing us to reduce funds and utilize program reserves to the tune of $280,000 for the HERO Scholarship. We're certainly glad to do that. Next, committee members, item 329.1, recommended increase from the governor, $927,000 to meet the projected need for our private Hope Scholarship recipients. Next is 330.1, recommendation from the governor, an increase of $11 million to meet the projected need for our Hope Public Scholars. Next, we have a recommendation from the House. This is item 331.1, instructing us to reduce funds and utilize program reserves to meet the projected need to the tune of $1 million. Certainly have the capacity and glad to do that. Next is 332.1, recommendation from the governor for $554,000 increased funds to meet the projected need for the University of North Georgia Military Service Scholarship. Next, Mr. Chairman, is item 334.1. This is a reduction from the governor of $85 million to meet the projected need for the Promise Scholarship. Again, this is a one-time true-up based on what we saw in participation for the first year of this program.
Can you tell how many students actually participate in scholarship?
Yes, sir. So now that we have been through the 4 application periods in our inaugural year, we're serving just about 7,700 students. And so that's the first year participation in Promise.
Do you know any kind of breakdown for private school versus home school and all that?
Yes, sir. So of the expenditures we've seen, over 70% so far are going to those eligible private schools. The remaining delta mostly indicating they're pursuing home study. But happy to get for committee members that breakdown, as well as later this year in December, we'll publish a very thorough report for the General Assembly about participation in this program, including grade level participation and how students are using these funds.
And what percentage of the people that applied actually were accepted? Because I know there were some parameters in there.
Yes, sir. Great question, and thank you for thinking about the demand while you all are considering the appropriation. We did receive over 20,000 applications for the program. The primary reasons a family was not eligible was because they were not currently attending a public school or they did not reside in a qualifying attendance zone.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Next, committee members, item 335.1, recommendation from the House to reduce those state funds and utilize program reserves to meet the projected need, $540,000. Again, this is for our public service memorial grant, which you all actually expanded last year. So thank you for your support of this program. Next, committee members, item 337.1. Recommendation from the House to reduce those state funds, utilize program reserves to meet the projected need for the Peace Officer Loan Repayment Program. That's a reduction of $3.2 million. directly below that, item 337.2, an instruction from the House to reduce those state funds, utilize program reserves to meet the projected need for the Georgia Medical Examiner Loan Repayment Program. That's a $140,000 reduction. And then finally, committee members, did want to draw your attention, in the amended budget, we do have a yes caption from the governor's recommendation. This is for 338.1, instructing us to use existing program reserves, 1.8 million, to meet the projected need for our tuition equalization grant. And this is for students who are pursuing post-secondary at one of our independent colleges. And committee members, if I could just mention, we have one agency attached to student finance. That's the Non-Public Post-Secondary Education Commission, or NPEC. Their director, Dr. Kirk Shook, is in the audience, but their recommendations are just the statewide changes that we've discussed this morning.
Senator Kilpatrick.
Yeah, thank you. This is small potatoes compared to some of the other items, but I'm curious about the medical examiner reduction. We've had so much trouble recruiting medical examiners through the state. We've raised salaries and a lot of other things. So can you explain that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Our colleagues at GBI did advocate for that program and indicated the need. I do not know why so far we haven't had a large uptake on that program. That reduction is based on the number of students we are serving. It is a loan repayment program, so I know as you all consider different models, in this model we don't actually hold the debt. You all are giving us the funds and then we're paying down the debt that student holds from another lender. Be happy to get some more data and perhaps even ask the recipients, is there something we could do to increase participation in that program? A very generous, large appropriation you all have provided. So.
No other questions. Great job.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, committee.
Great job. Mr. Dozier. Mr. Muller, so good to see you this morning.
He thanks you for his shower.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman.
Yeah.
Well, we had a tough time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
In our building, the power was off and the water was off.
Did you notice?
I had to
Power
clean up
bill?
with the water. Sorry, I didn't mean to get personal, but he stopped me.
Thank you.
See all y'all.
We're so happy for the Mullis
The
facility.
Mullis. Thank you for
The Mullis facility. Oh, yeah.
I should have.
Yeah, very nice. Should have.
I went to Silver Skillet and
Mr. Dozier, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for waiting around too.
Oh,
I hope you learned something from all these other people.
always do, always do. Mr. Chairman, I'll just be very quickly, but just a reminder from the joint appropriations, a few standouts. Couldn't be more proud of our technical colleges and in the system. This past fall, we set a record over 1 million credit hours. First time we've seen a single semester with over 1 million credit hours. Last year, we set a record on graduates, 47,496. We set a record on credentials earned by the students, 81,400. And we had the highest headcount enrollment since the Great Recession at 159,280. With all that, we have been very consistent in a 99% placement rate of our graduates. What we really track, though, is the graduates going into field of study. And so inside of that 99% placement, we set a record last year of 92% of those graduating working in the field of study that they graduate in. So when you look at the health of the system right now, I couldn't be more proud. When you look globally at the system, as you know, we've been given the opportunity to serve workforce across the workforce boards through the WIOA program, employment services, the job portal, as well as our colleges, serving adult education, serving as the economic development or customized training arm, which is all beyond that 159,000 headcount I mentioned. And when you look at all components, your technical college system touched nearly 600,000 lives last year. So very, very proud of what the employees across this state are doing to represent all of us across the state on workforce. One thing real quickly before I jump into the specific budget of TCSG, Dream Scholarship, very thankful for that. So thank you guys, and thank you to the governor and the chancellor. He mentioned a meeting, very thankful to him for a meeting with myself and my team this past week to talk about some of those details. And as we continue as a team to define that, he's right. Currently, the looking about 15% for TCSG. We're looking at that 2-year associate degree program initially, and obviously look to continue the partnership and grow that. But very thankful to the governor and the chancellor for making sure TCSG is a part of that, and looking forward to how it can make a difference. As you know, I think Georgia State got a lot of credit years ago, but your technical college system also about the same time started what we call a last mile fund. And that's something that really tries to make sure those that need just a few dollars to finish the programs makes that last investment. And this need scholarship, the Dream Scholarship, will really just add to that. So I couldn't be more thankful once again to the governor and the chancellor and to you guys as you support this. Specifically on TCSG's budget, we're on page of what I have, 58 of 64. It starts in section 46. I won't go through each section, but I'll start in the very first section, which is 342, specifically 342.1. And you'll see this item, as you've heard, across each of our programs, and that's the $2,000 salary supplement. In 342.1, that's $424,000, but if you add up the whole system, it's $13,998,806. Very thankful to the governor. Would appreciate your support on that $2,000 supplement to our great employees across the technical college system. The second item that is a generic one across the system is a house change. And in the adult education program, that item is 342.2, and that is to reflect 1 month of the state health benefit plan savings that the governor recommended in the big budget. For us, in this one section, it's $43,000, but across all programs, that amounts to a $1,759,144 change. Those are the two main items, and if you would flip to me to one last unique item in our budget, and that's in the very last section of our budget on page 64 of my item. Hopefully it's the last page that you guys have, and that's the workforce division, and that item is 348.2. That is the elimination of funds for one unfilled workforce development position. That's money that was put in by this body that was in our budget, but really for the Department of Economic Development. Department of Economic Development decided not to hire that position, so it's just a return of monies that was supposed to go to a position that's not going to be hired. You'll see that also in the big budget.
That's a Hyundai position, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And so other than that, there's no other changes in our budget. We do have, just as the chancellor mentioned, not in your packet, but in the Georgia State Financing and Investment Commission, there's a $48 million in there for TCSG for repairs and maintenance. Just as the chancellor mentioned, for us there's 77 specific projects included in that $48 million. Most of that is roofs and other items that just continues to make sure our buildings are operational. That is a huge benefit across our colleges to support making sure we have facilities that are functioning for our students. Mr. Chairman and committee, thank you for this chance. Obviously, would love to answer any questions, but I couldn't be prouder where we sit today, and honestly, it's because of your support. As you invest in us, we hopefully are showing that return on investment in our workforce.
Any questions? The robotics and industrial training facility in Bullock County is coming out of sight. It probably just a few more months from opening.
That's right. It's moving quickly. You know, we kind of were a little slow to begin with, but very proud where we sit today. Absolutely, and that's going to be a game changer.
It is. Right.
Really is.
Quick question.
Yeah, please.
I'm going to anticipate some additional new project requests in the FY27 budget. Is that not true?
I would imagine.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Commissioner.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All righty.
Yes, ma'am. Davenport.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
not for him. I just want to make one comment.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we
please.
did pass out about the Dreams program.
Yes,
Because we
ma'am.
spent a lot of time.
Oh, okay, that
this-
was you. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
a lot of time this summer in Senator Orrock's study committee on the affordability of higher education. And so we want to make sure that the public and private institutions are covered there.
Well, thank you
Thank
for doing it. Thank you for doing that. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for hanging around.
Thank
That's
you,
good.
sir. Appreciate you
A lot of
guys.
times when we do this, everybody leaves as they come up, but thank y'all for being a part of it. Good meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I gotta go to the restroom.